All right, thank you for staying with us. It's Democracy Today, and we begin our conversation immediately. I have the pleasure to introduce to you Uche Naoje, is the Commissioner for Information in the Ebonyi State. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's begin immediately. And as you know, this is a political program, so of course we will start with issues of politics. And you know, it was once upon a time it was described as the Gov.Umahi led PDP administration. But today, it is now the Gov.Umahi-led APC administration. So tell us, how has your principal and the executive, which you belong, fared since making that move about 5 months ago?
It has been a move that has given us an impetus to really have a fair share of the democratic dividends of our nation, the APC-led federal government. I can say that when we were in PDP, as it were, my governor, in his style of politics, believes in all-inclusive politics and relating with all persons, all governments to ensure that he makes a progress. And so we didn't miss quite a lot where we were in PDP. But I can tell you that an impetus was garnered at the time we entered APC. And so we have the opportunity of sharing in the various programs of the federal government without any hindrance on political coloration. And I can say that we are moving forward. The future is bright in our developmental pace. We are participating in all empowerment programs of the federal government. Government has from time to time, that is federal government, giving us grants and even facilities to ensure that we further give our people the much needed democracy dividend. And I thank God for that bold decision of our governor. The governor made that decision clearly for one singular reason, that we may, as a people from Southeast, mainstream with a party at a national level, which has been the political culture of Southeast over the years, both pre, post, independence, democracy. And I can tell you that it is going to help us a lot in our political mainstreaming and other issues that surround it.
All right, so in terms of the state, the party at the state level, how has it been managing? Have you been able to bring all the interests together to ensure that there is no rancor within the state?
Yeah, that is his style of politics, ensuring inclusive politics. Once there is election and after the election comes governance, that goes beyond political leaning. And given the merger between the former PDP and the former APC, we are together enjoying in APC. I can say that it has done a lot to resolve issues with former APC or the political differences amongst the stakeholders. And that has really made the APC in the state to be very strong and very viral. I can say that, as it were, the governor has ensure that even those that were in the former APC, as it were, are included in appointments, in other empowerment programs. And of course, everybody is settled to work under one leadership, and that is the leadership of our dear governor, His Excellency General Chief David Umahi, the APC governor of Ebonyi State.
All right, since it's your job to promote your government, it's my job to take you and hold you to task about that. And you recall that when we began the program, I made it clear that some people have, of course, praised the administration which you represent of performing well, while many others have said, no, this government has focused on the wrong things. How do you respond to some of those before we begin to break it down?
It is foolhardy, absolutely, for somebody who does birth to think that infrastructure is not part of development. For the governor, he believes that infrastructure and human empowerment are the twin pillars of development that must be carried on simultaneously and equally to ensure that the people's lives are bettered. Come to talk of it, apart from the infrastructure that the governor has fixed beyond successive governments, the governor has ensured that our people are empowered. If you look at the current MBS record about the job creation index and empowerment index, it does favor Ebonyi State. Ebonyi is coming second in the states of Southeast. What are the parameters, the indices, the yardstick? One is the fact that Ebonyi is a construction site. Who are involved in this construction site? Both is semi-skilled, non-skilled, and skilled labor. Indigenous or non-indigenous who are resident in Ebonyi State. we don't have issues of capital flight, because even the issue of flyovers that we are doing that makes Ebonyi next after Abuja and Lagos, we are using in local content that has really made everybody to be busy today, but it's a constitution side. And I tell you that we are doing a lot to raise the capacity through establishment of vocational education to really harvest the young brains in the area of the artisans, the technicians, even those in vocational programs, even in those in entrepreneurship. What did government do? Government had to really establish vocational college. That vocational college is aimed at giving certification to all of these categories of people to enhance their capacity. Thereafter, government will give them financial empowerment. Do I go ahead to tell you the numerous empowerment government has given? Before we were known for hawking, governor did a lot to reduce that idea of hawking, which is not a good thing. What did government do? Government had to introduce what is called street to skill empowerment program, which we first launched in Lagos, the commercial hub of Nigeria. And over 520 number of people were given empowerment. I think a total of 130 million given to them. Today we have less number of Ebonians in the city of Lagos doing hawking. And I can also say that even our widows, who are the poorest of the poor widows, we had a program that is called Widow Empowerment Program. We gave them 400,300,000 to go into numerous, businesses, that will enhance their means of livelihood and make them to fend for their families. I can also tell you that we have done all of these things even for the civil servants, where we raised 4 billion to give them as a facility. We are drawing between 200,000 and 1 million, as the case may be, depending on the year they are going to leave service or their age, in service. And so we have done a lot to empower the people.
All right, now, so while you reel out some of these figures you mentioned now, the question remains that why has this impact not been felt? And I'll take you up because you mentioned the MBS report. And that same MBS report you quoted also says that Ebonyi has 40% unemployment and about 20% underemployed. That's underemployment as well. So if you are putting all these, call them laudable programs in place, why is there no dent? Why is there no dent being felt in those figures?
Economic development indices are very gradual. They don't come so automatically. It is assessed over a period of time, looking at where we are coming from and where we are going to. In 2015, we were not to be found in a map of developed states, or even developing states, as it were. But the governor came and gave us environment. What next did he do? He decided to create long-lasting facilities that will provide or trigger economic development. One of them is the creation of Africa's biggest shopping mall, the biggest in Africa ever built by any government. And it's going to trigger a lot of employment and job creation and wealth creation. I think about 5,000 number shops, modern shops. And I also can tell you that we have an international market that is the biggest in the Southeast, the most beautiful in Nigeria. And this is going to have more than 3,000 number shops who are going to be there, indigenous, to do their business. Government is not a good businessman. The objective of government is to provide not only security, not only safety to the people, but also to give them environment that will make them have unfettered access to facilities in order for them to be self-reliant, self-sufficient, and that is the way to go. I can tell you that with the construction of one of Nigeria's biggest airport that is ongoing, moving progressively, geometrically, as it were, I can say that that will trigger also employment, job creation. With Africa's biggest college of medicine, you need to see it on the screen. You will know that it is going to trigger a lot of employment and empowerment. Who are going to benefit this? Our people will benefit that. And I can tell you that it's going to house no less than 10,000 number of jobs with all the ancillary business activities going on. We have a federal government facility that is being constructed in Ebonyi State, and that is the referral, hospital referral center, military hospital referral center, and that is going to also attract jobs. And these are the creations that will make for job creation, wealth creation. So we are going there. We know where we're going.
So you know that I was actually expecting that at some point you will come to talk about the Gov.Umahi International Market, also the mall which you are building as well, called the biggest, which you have tied to the biggest mall in Africa, as well as that airport. And so I was also prepared for you when you come to that level, because reports say clearly, reports from institutions within our nation, and I'm referring to FAN in this case, has said, look, there are only 2 airports in Nigeria that are viable, and that's Lagos and Abuja. Now, the question to you is, why are you building another airport, right, which you hope to complete by the end of 2022? Why are you building that when just 1 hour away from you, there's the Akano Ibiam in Enugu?
Why there is that we could have a choice in air business and in air transportation. That if you are coming from any part of the world that you would like to say, apart from Abuja and Lagos, the next place I should land is in Ebonyi State, as it were. That is the dream and the vision we have. And we are looking at the Ethiopian airline to tap in their business initiatives. That idea means that if Lagos doesn't take time, if Abuja doesn't take time, we talk about the concentration of traffic of air business. And that is the way to go. When there is airport, it does trigger employment. Is it not true? It does trigger wealth creation. It does trigger a lot of even the land within the place will really enhance in its value. And that is, our idea is that we should have what we call importers and exporters who from any part of Ebonyi move to any part of the world and come straight to Ebonyi in order to have their business done. And this will trigger, influx of investors. These are things that will create job and create employment for the people. And when investors will go straight from any part of the world to Ebonyi State, it means that we are the destination for investment. And you know what it means. So that is our idea. We are not begging to have a airport, but we are saying that we want to have an airport that is going to be one of the best, one of the most attractive. And that is the way to go. All of these things will create job in the long run.
All right, and I want to take you up on what you mentioned now, the foreign investment. And records show that between 2019 and 2020, Ebonyi is one of the states in Nigeria that didn't record a dollar in foreign investment. So what is your plan in this case to boost that foreign direct investment into your state?
Yes, apart from these facilities that will bring about investors, local, national, and foreign, we intend that we are going to tap a lot in the value chain in agriculture to see how we can participate in the value chain processes in agriculture, especially in the area of exporting our commodities in agriculture. That is why we have taken advantage or exploited our advantage in processing. Today we have a total of 32 metric ton capacity government-owned rice milling plant that is the biggest in Africa. I mean whatever I'm saying. We also have about 28 number, what is called a parboiling plant, metric ton capacity per hour parboiling plant that feeds the rice milling plant. We also have individually owned rice milling plants that makes Ebonyi, or gives Ebonyi a name as a state with the highest number of rice milling clusters. These initiatives is to ensure that we participate in all the agri programs by the federal government and of course by donor agencies and development partners. And again, beside this, we are doing a lot in the area of health sector. A health sector that cannot, attract, even foreign persons from outside Nigeria, outside Africa, even parts of the world. That way, there will be issue of economic development and economic growth that will trigger a lot of issues of self-sufficiency in Ebonyi State.
All right, so one point you have mentioned repeatedly is biggest in Africa. So why is the Ebonyi State government, which you are part of, not focused in terms of industry? Maybe instead of some of these, I read somewhere the big glass agriculture exhibition center. So why are we not focusing in terms of industries? Because you have mineral resources, and this thing can help lift your population out of poverty.
We actually have a blueprint on development of industry in Ebonyi State. And one is that we must create environment, create access road that we go to the nooks and crannies of the state. That we have actualized. Our next idea is that government is not a good businessman. What do? We need to partner with foreign investors to see how we can, through what is called a special purpose vehicle and other partnership arrangements, have investors come to Ebonyi State and invest in industry to make for industrialization. We think that private sector participation in the development of industry in Ebonyi State is the way to go, because experience has shown that government doesn't do it well, especially because of issues of successive governments. However, we have made legislations that will ensure permanence of investment in Ebonyi State without any hindrance or any encumbrance by successive government. So we have made law to make it impossible for successive government to really stop any investment in Ebonyi State. And that is going to really encourage our investors. Of course, we have given tax holidays. We have also made sure that we develop our economic system such that there is ease of doing business, in Ebonyi State. And of course, we have an e-procurement process that is very, very simple, such that investors will not have it difficult, participating in business in Ebonyi State.
All right, let's talk about ease of doing business, which you have mentioned now. And I'd like you to explain to Nigerians watching you why Ebonyi State, over the last 6 years, at least part of 5 of which Gov.Umahi has been in the saddle, has your IGR, the internal generated revenue, has continually dipped over the last 6 years. And right now, as of 2019, it was at 7.46 billion naira. So what's happening?
You aren't totally correct. In 2015, we had somewhat IGR base that is actually very minimal, comparatively speaking. But when the governor came, he introduced a lot of initiative to close up leakages, to ensure that this IGR, or this internally generated revenue, come into government coffers. And that has really lifted, though a gradual process. It's more of an arithmetic progression than geometric progression. Sometimes because of issues like issues of COVID-19, issues of NSAS and other hardships that are nationally, that are national, in nature, we have dwindling case of revenue generation. But from time to time, it does jump up. But if you're talking about allocation, federal allocation, continually we have been at the lowest point of the ladder. And that is why everybody is surprised that in Ebonyi State, despite the meager resources, quite unencouraging allocation we are getting, we are able to do all of these things that we have done. Today, we have a very beautiful capital city that you need to see and appreciate, that will have the capacity and the potential to attract creative industry, entertainment industry. And that is the way to go to engage our youth and women, our graduates. Today, we have an environment, a road system that has made Ebonyi to be to have a network of roads, whereby you can get to any part of Ebonyi State within an hour. And that makes Ebonyi State today to be a global village in terms of road. And this road I'm talking about is a road that can last for 50 years, being that we are doing it by concrete pavement, making our governor the first in the history of Nigerian governance to do road construction by concrete pavement. Today, all the federal roads coming to Ebonyi State, whether from Enugu, whether from Cross River, whether from Benue State, is tarred. You can always cruise, whether from Abia State. You always cruise. You always know that you're in a different place. I tell you, we have the biggest tunnel, Africa's biggest tunnel, called President Muhammadu Buhari Light Tunnel. We call it the face of Ebonyi State. If you're sleeping and you arrive at the place, you think that you are in Dubai. And if you have a reason to go and have a photograph there, you will send to your wife or your family. They will say, where are you? Are you in London? Are you in Dubai? These are things that bring about happiness on the side of the people of Ebonyi State, that all of a sudden, today, we are lifting our heads to say that our state is a place to be, is a reference point in good governance. It is a flagship of excellence, courtesy of one man. So we celebrate him because it wouldn't have been possible without his kind of person.
Talking about your light tunnel and the roads and all of that, so I think that, except for the light tunnel, conversations I've had with other people, and they do not necessarily have a problem with the fact of the road infrastructure, which is good. But the point is, the average Ebonyi man or woman on the street is asking, is not light I will eat. you know. I recall that at some point in Nigeria, the word stomach infrastructure became very popular. That, they call it a phrase, if you will, became very popular. And so Ebonyans, if I allow me to use that, are asking for what will go into their stomach. So react to that very quickly before we continue.
In governance systems, stomach infrastructure is a cake. That doesn't show our modern system of government. We believe in the principle that says, teach me how to fish, don't give me fish. So stomach infrastructure is like giving somebody fish.
But that's
Having
because
said that, I have to mention
high.
that light. I am coming to that. That the essence, philosophy behind issue of having light in Ebonyi State is that it does reduce insecurity to the barest minimum, as it were. That is why in Ebonyi State, despite issues or pockets of communal clashes and all of these national problems, understandably, we don't have issues in insecurity because we have got light in at least 20 kilometers per local government, street light non-stop for 12 hours. We have got light in all the metropolis and satellite towns. By the way, part of the problem in Nigeria is that of lack of power. If I can get power correct in Nigeria, I can tell you that everybody will be busy doing his business. Today in Ebonyi State, we have nightlife. Today in Ebonyi State, you can walk around in the night and nothing happens. You may not understand the implication. Today in Ebonyi State, your vehicle can move without light. You may not appreciate that until you have opposite of it. Let me tell you, light is one of the legacies of Umahi administration, that if successive administration does not continue with it, stone will be thrown on them, I tell you. And so why I'm saying this is that those infrastructure are very, very critical. I have not mentioned flyovers. I can tell you that flyovers we have now are 13 in number. And you may say, why flyover? Flyover is futuristic.
People even argue that you don't even have the population for all the flyovers you are building.
We are looking at 100 years to come if God tarries. And when investors will begin to come, when the non-indigenous will begin to come to Ebonyi State because of issue of security, because of issue of wonderful environment, there will be traffic. And we are preempting 50, 100 years to come. That is why we are doing these flyovers, that at any time investors come, whether in any part of the 3 zones of the state, they will have no issue of traffic in the time to come. If I tell you today, every vehicle going to any part of Southeast from Cross River would like to apply through a beautiful road, flyovers. Any person or vehicle flying through Benue State to any part of Southeast would like to move through Ebonyi State. What are we talking? It increases revenue generation. It also increases traffic of persons in the state, and thereby making social life in Ebonyi State to be very attractive. I can tell you that it also does attract creative industry, I have said that. So I can tell you that this is the way to go. You would have said that it's a time of little structural adjustment, like everybody must adjust for us to have environment that will attract investment, that will bring about prosperity in the land and happiness in the long run. That's the way to go.
All right. Very, very, very important to this happiness you speak of is the very serious issue and need for security. You know, just a few weeks back now, the incident that happened in Ebonyi State, and the vice president of our dear nation had to come visit to sympathize with you and all of those things that have happened. And also, there's a growing rate of insecurity, especially around the southeast region in Nigeria. One of your neighbors there, Imo State, as well, you know, the crisis that happened just early in the week. You know, so these situations are all around you. What is the Gov.Umahi strategy to deal with this? And record, I'm asking that specifically because he told the vice president at that meeting that the state governors are incapacitated to handle the issues of security.
Yeah, in the area of incapacitation, security belongs to the exclusive list of the Federal Republic. And so government of every state does not have a direct control or charge of the security outfits in the state. So it could be contributing to the supposedly quote that you made on the governor. But having said that, the governor, like you did say in your introductory remarks, that he brought to bear his skill of negotiation, arbitration, his skill of inclusive politics, to bring all stakeholders on board, whether you belong to any political party, unless you don't want the progress of the state, to bring you on board to discuss the issue of security. What have we agreed upon? That in addition to the existing security outfits that we have, about 6, 7 of them, federal security outfits, that we should fortify our own civilian security outfit. We call it the neighborhood watch. We have over 4,000 number. But given the raging issue, disturbances we have, especially communal clashes, and the herdsmen issue that came recently in Ebonyi State, government had to really further fortify our civilian outfit by raising for each community 5-number vigilante that will be like supervisors. We have about 140 number communities, so we are raising 700 number vigilante that will supervise the rest of the vigilante. Then at the metropolis level and the satellite town, we have a total of 300 number. That is 1,000 the government just raised last week to ensure that they will help in policing our various communities. Yes, they may not have the arms that federal security agencies may have, but intelligence is all there is. Training is all there is. So that they will be more of having preventive, taking preventive action than, proactive action and preventive action than actions just to manage the situation. And that is part of it, is to give information, to collaborate and consult with security agencies to ensure that we police our communities. What did government further do? Government had to really ensure motivation of the security agencies by ensuring that the barracks, that is the headquarters of these security agencies, have social amenities, including water, including road, concrete pavement in each of the quarters, and also light. About not less than 10 solar light per even divisions. Now, the idea of the government is that with this, they can be motivated. And in addition to this, government is thinking about fencing all the divisions, headquarters or barracks of security agencies to really protect them, to really motivate them, to really police the various communities. This will do a lot, of course, with a charge given to the security agencies to ensure that they defend themselves legitimately in compliance with the rule of the game. That is ensuring that the rule of engagement is not breached. In doing this, they should do everything to defend themselves, to defend the public, to defend the citizenry.